It has officially been a full week since I got back from San Diego. So let's break down what I got, my thoughts on the con, everything involved on being an exhibitor, to a fan, to the craziness and madness. Let's go through some of the things and my thoughts of overall one of the biggest cons in the world, San Diego Comic-Con 2026. If you missed any of the coverage, I've been dropping some shorts throughout the past week. I already dropped a walkthrough video. One thing that I have access to that many others don't and not everybody gets to see is exhibitor access. What does that mean? That means I'm in the con before anybody else. It is getting set up, so you get to see all the craziness from the massive booths being set up, forklifts, all the behind the scenes stuff that not everybody gets access to, and it's a really cool way to kind of check out the con without the madness of the crowd. Speaking of the madness of the crowd, man, this San Diego, I've been there the past 2 years. My first year was crazy packed, but nothing compared to the amount of people they had this year. This was the first year they had all the pop-up booths, everything off-site was free to the public, so you didn't need one of your badges or anything to get in, which is great for fans, great for the city and everything else. But if I'm traveling across country, across the world, wherever you're coming from, I don't know how you guys deal with all those people standing in line. Some of those lines are 5, 6, 7 hours. That's the only thing you're able to do each day. Now, granted, if it's like bucket list items, meeting your favorite celebrity, meeting some absolute legends or icons in the industry, whatever it may be, those are worth it. But man, a lot of these pop-up shops you can watch on YouTube, you can watch on Instagram, Reels, TikTok, wherever you're on a social media. It's a 5-minute quick walkthrough. You might get a tote bag, you might get a water bottle, you might get a pin. But man, I commend those fans because they are some of the most dedicated people. That is not for me. I could not be standing in line for 5, 6, 7 hours just for a pin. I salute all of the dedication from all those people. You see it in Hall H, people camping out for 2, 3, 4 days, whatever it may be, just to be the first ones to get into the Marvel panel. It is some of the most insane stuff I've ever seen in person. But again, from the bottom of my heart, I just commend you guys. That amount of dedication is absolutely unmatched. When I talk about exhibitor access, that means I do get the chance to be in the con before public, before anything else. And it's really sometimes weird situations that happen. What I mean by that is I'm not also a fan, a collector, as you see behind me, and also work in the industry. So I don't like to really buy things before the con opens. I don't like to get in line. I don't like to buy a bunch of stuff. If I'm going to have a signing, I feel weird if I have more than 5 books of the same book to get signed because it's just taking up other people's time. So that's just me. That's not what I like to do. But this year was kind of crazy. If you've seen anything online, the DC booth had the absolute Shoe Palace box. The thing was $100, what, limited to like 500 boxes, comes with the box, the comic, the t-shirt. I tried to get in line first day as an exhibitor. I walked right on in. They were not, it was right when the show opened. It was right around 9 o'clock. Show opened, we all got in line. There wasn't anything crazy, pushing, shoving, or anything. It was a madhouse, but we all got in line. It was all good with the DC booth. And then the con started picking out exhibitors from the booth. And even though I had people in front of me with regular badges, people behind me with regular badges, I was not the first in line. I was like 30 or 40 people back because by the time I walked over to the booth, there was a bunch of people that ran from the door and got in. They started pulling us out of line saying we cannot buy the box, we cannot buy anything for an hour. That was crazy to me, absolutely crazy. I mean, I get it as a fan that kind of makes sure things are still in stock and everything, but as a fan and exhibitor, I don't have regular ticket access. I can't even see the portal. That's the one thing that kind of sucks for me with San Diego. I can't have access to the portal with exhibitor stuff, so I can't see what's going on, panels and everything, so I miss out on a lot. But I asked him, I was like, bro, how am I supposed to buy this? He's like, oh, you can always come back in an hour. Immediately sold out. He's like, oh, you can have a friend stand in line. I was like, bro, are you going to be that friend? So I heard a lot of people talking about like the staffing with the con, the security. They were all really on edge and kind of rude this year. I didn't really get that vibe last year. All the booths, everybody working the booths and actually in the con, they were awesome. They were super cool. But the staff for the con, and especially a lot of the security, they had no idea what was going on. We would ask to go in this door. They would send us to another door, and then the people at that door would send us back to another door. It was all over the place. So the organization and staffing was just kind of felt like it was all over the place this year. The one thing I will know about San Diego before we get into all the crazy exclusives I bought, the fandoms were out in force this year, from Dungeon Crawler Carl to the comic stuff, toys, movies. It's a crazy, crazy con for pop culture, but the fandoms were super out in force, and it's just really, really good to see because there's a lot of new collectors coming in from all different aspects. Maybe it be cards, like I said, movies, video games, toys, comics, whatever you collect. There's a lot of exposure between these different hobbies with different things going on. So it's nice to see people from different corners of collecting all come together in one con and kind of talk about things. That was the one thing I definitely wanted to note for when I was in line with people. Let's get right down to business and talk about the absolute honor, treat, and pleasure I had with hanging out with the man, the myth, the legend, Joe Benitez. So this is our Absolute Batman issue number 22 with Rups Comics. This is what we dropped on Whatnot. Had some on eBay. It was shared with Big Clutch and Comic Tom. It was a huge outpouring at our booth. We sold out on our first night and our first day of all versions of this. So again, thank you for anybody that supported us, shared, liked, stopped by. But man, hanging out with Joe, I got to hang out with Nathan Gooden from Dungeon Crawler Carl, and then I got to hang out with Sarah Sung from Supergirl, Sweet Death, tons of other covers. They were all awesome. So I got to do multiple artist streams with them. Just such a cool time. And one of the advantages I have of working in the industry is getting to hang out and fanboy and just drool over some of these crazy, crazy artists. So here we have the Absolute Batman issue number 22. This was our trade dress. We also have the black and white. And if you are not seeing the revisions that Joe was doing during these, please go to his Instagram. I collect a lot of artwork, original art and everything. In my opinion, his remarks were some of the craziest things he was doing during the con out of everybody. He was taking the entire Harley, turned her completely into Jubilee. Back here on Batman, completely changed him to Wolverine, changed the Absolute Batman to Absolute Wolverine. It was insane. So check out his Instagram. It's all over mine as well. And then out of the black and white, we also have the foil. So a lot of people just do things with the trade dress where it's just a trade and then they'll just change the color. We wanted to do something a little bit different and more unique. So after the trade, you get rid of the trade. And then you have the Joker's eyes. So shout out to anybody who was able to pick these up. These are long sold out, so the only way to get most of the exclusives and books you guys are gonna see are things that we had available at our booth, shared with other retailers, or were our exclusives as well, because I just did not have the time to run around and stand in line and go to other booths. I put in 95,000 miles. We were just short of 100K. We were out there for 6 days, running around, dropping stuff off, walking for food, running all over the hotel. It was crazy. And mind you, we were doing streams for hours and hours and hours. So that's why my energy, it's basically taken a whole week, almost 2 weeks to recover from the con. So it's been crazy. So this is the one I am definitely happy to have, the Dungeon Crawler Carl stuff. I was talking about how fandoms exploded. These things sold out in a heartbeat. And then there's another Dungeon Crawler Carl you're gonna see that was even more crazy. So this is the Invincible homage. This is the bloody spot foil. I think these were limited to like 100, 150 copies or something like that. Shout out to Big Clutch. He was set up at our booth. So I had easy access to these because these were gone in a minute. And then same thing, I was talking about hanging out with Nathan Gooden. This is the new Robert Kirkman series Terminal. If you haven't checked it out, it's kind of like the modern day X-Men, but this is the dope trading card version. This was the spot foil as well. So we had these dropped. We still have some available, so we'll still have some on our website. This was another one of the big books that sold out immediately. We had a special event at our booth. We are the reps for Alex Ross, Bill Sienkiewicz, and we're partnered with Aspen Comics. So we had a special thing where when you bought this set at our booth, it came with a ticket to get it signed by a private signing by Bill Sienkiewicz. So we had a huge line that Friday morning, sold out immediately. Again, shout out to Big Clutch and eBay. They had these available online. But I was able to get a set, and I wanted to do something a little special. I normally don't like to get the connecting SIG, but with these, I think I'm gonna put them in a frame together and he hit the drag signature perfectly. I had one of my buddies hold these together because I was unloading a bunch of stock. So these came out great, and these were definitely one of the bigger books of the con. They're a few $100 now each, so as a set. So happy, happy, happy to have it signed. Even though I'm constantly running Whatnot live streams during cons, I have to make sure I try and get some drops of books I must have for my collection. I actually missed out on the Davis Rider Conquest, so I'm gonna have to get that later. But even when I'm live, I still have my girlfriend help me out, check in on live shows, so she was able to get one of the drops. And you know me, being huge into Absolute Batman, I'm trying to pick up all these good homages that I can. There's some random ones that I don't necessarily need, but this one from Comic Tom, the Mark Spears Monsters, issue number 11, I think these were limited to like 200 copies or 300 copies. There was a Noir version as well. Sold out in seconds, so beyond happy to get this. And speaking of selling out in seconds, I wasn't able to get the first version, so I'm happy, happy, happy to have this one. This is the Dan Quintana Absolute Batman Poison Ivy. It is a very, very dark foil in cameras. It's hard to take pictures with, it's hard to see in cam, but in hand, gorgeous cover, gorgeous, gorgeous cover. This would be good to get signed in the red by Dan, even though I already have a book signed by Dan. But again, happy to get this one. I was lucky enough to grab this from the Davis Rider drop. And then the one book that's not really a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, but anytime John Boy is at a con, one of the things I do is I make sure I stop by his booth because he has a clean setup, gorgeous books, some rare stuff to find. You can find some of his Absolute Batman, things like that, and the prices are great. So I was digging through and I actually found this one. I was looking specifically for a pink signature on any book, and I love me some Street Fighter. This is actually the Darkstalkers version, but if you notice, that says AP, artist proof. Artist proof out of 50. So when these COAs were made, there was only 50 of these for signed. So only 50 of these signed at the time with the hollow foil COA. I actually found the artist proof digging in. I think I only paid like 30 or 40 bucks for this. So super, super happy. This is such a clean cover. So let's move on to some of the bigger and harder to get exclusives of the con. Just like when John Boy's at a con, anytime my boy Jonathan Tyler Christopher has a con, it's a must stop for me. And I'm trying to put together all of these. I don't even know what he's calling it, but it is crazy, crazy, crazy. I don't know if you're gonna see it, but it's actually the bat symbol inside with this like negative space and lines. It is so trippy, and he even has like dust jackets for these. If you can't see, it is signed. So Jonathan Tyler has the smallest signature in the game. And if you're not a fan of that small signature, he's actually doing logo sigs as well. So it's a bit bigger, but I love the tiny sig. So I think this is like Batman 11, no Absolute Batman, but this is a sweet, sweet cover for the collection. And then anytime Mark Spears or Keen Spot is set up, I definitely make sure I at least grab one exclusive. And this one spoke to me. I remember this was the Discord exclusive, I think, when this cover came out. I know there was something to do with the Uncle Sam, but this is for the Quincentennial. I love the secret exclusive. I think there was only 100 of these, or like 150. So I think I only paid like 30 or 40 bucks for it. So I love the spot foil treatment, and I've dialed way back on the Mark Spears stuff, but when it comes to exclusives, here and there, I'm definitely trying to grab some. This one kind of caught me by surprise. This is the Todd Beats Battle Beast versus Conquest. I think it's Battle Beast issue 11, but this is actually the One Piece Luffy homage, and perfect timing because I'm huge anime. I grew up with Dragon Ball Z. I love Attack on Titan, My Hero Academia, tons of other older stuff, the classics, but One Piece I recently got into in the past 2 years. So I'm burning through all the episodes on Netflix and everything, but this is such a dope cover, and you guys know I love me Invincible. Battle Beast and Conquest are my two mains when it comes to the series. Here we have probably, in my opinion, some of the 4 hardest books to get from the con. The Image booth was packed every day it opened. I'm a huge Daniel Warren Johnson fanboy. That's my go. I have some Daniel Warren Johnson original art hanging right over there. But this is the Duo Powerbomb, the black and white edition. If you've never read Duo Powerbomb, it's coming out in black and white, but this is the convention exclusive with the spot foil and the golding. This is going to be perfect to get a remark, signatures, all that kind of good stuff. So I was super happy to get this. I wasn't able to get this until like the last day, so I was kind of stressing out, but this is one I had to have. And then I also had to get this. So same thing, I missed out. They sold out of their allotments of the first 2 days, but I had to have this. So if you missed out on this, your LCS got these as a 1 per store. This is the Chain Kata Ash Can from Daniel Warren Johnson. This is his brand new story with colors by Mike Spicer, but it's all in like black and white with some crazy, crazy, crazy artwork. So make sure you guys are checking it out, because when Daniel Warren Johnson does artwork, writes the whole 9 yards, that's why he's my top guy, because stories like this. These next two, they were tough to get. I was lucky enough to get the Absolute Batman Jim Lee. I had the opportunity to buy the set. They had the Superman and the Wonder Woman, but I was tight on cash, man. Eating out there, just getting an iced coffee was like 20, 30 bucks an iced coffee. It's crazy. You go to sit down to eat, it's a few $100. So just eating food out there's no fast food, there's no McDonald's. So man, I was trying to keep things in a budget while also kind of splurge a little bit. So I only got the trade. I should have picked them up, because the trade, I only bought this for like 30, 40 bucks. It's going for like 150 now. The black and whites and then the foils. So just happy to have the Absolute Batman Jim Lee. I had to pair it with the issue #1, first print I had. So love that. And that would be perfect placement for a signature. And then the surprise explosive nuke book of the con was this Dungeon Crawler Carl, which was our secret drop with Big Clutch on, I think he did Friday or Saturday. Each one was limited to like 50 copies, 100 copies, 75 copies. It's got the San Diego SDCC, San Diego Comic-Con, Dungeon Crawler Carl, You Not Break Me. I got the boxer version, Big Leg, Rups Comics, Big Clutch. I should have got the embossed version. The embossed version, last time I checked, this was like 2 days after the con, was selling like $700 to $800 online. So that was on eBay. That was the embossed version. This version right here, I paid what, like 30 or 40 bucks. It's, again, it's been about a week since I've checked, but this was still sitting at about 200 or 300. So there's other versions, but these were crazy. It was the Brett Bean variant as well. You guys know I love me some Dork and Brett Bean, so I can't wait to get that signed. But that was the biggest book, in my opinion, and some of the hardest things to get, because when these dropped on our floor, gone in seconds. And here is something that I've been eyeing for a little bit. I was just waiting till after the con to pick it up, but I found it at the con. If you do not know, I'm a huge music guy. Love music. It's a huge part of my life. Oliver Tree, one of my favorite artists growing up for the past like 6 or 7 years. Huge influence in my life. Love his attitude, his vibe, and everything. You guys know he tragically passed away in the helicopter accident. But I found the hardcover. So happy. The Oliver Tree versus Little Ricky Alien Boys. So super happy. You can still find these online. So it's like the double-sided hardcover, and it also comes with these dope little prints. So it comes with, boom, and then it comes with, so I'm gonna get these framed. I actually ordered his slime. If you didn't know, he did a Logan Paul little parody. So this thing is super dope. It's got the gold stamp press, super oversized, but it's just the hardcover. Bumping my stand a little bit, she's so big. So I'll just flip through it, but super happy to have this. I already read through it, so dope little story, but just a nice little shelf piece just to remember and honor him forever. So let me know. Did you guys go to San Diego? Did you guys buy anything from San Diego? Did you guys go online on Whatnot, eBay, or anything and hang out? What are your guys' thoughts on San Diego? What are your guys' thoughts on cons in general? What are your guys' thoughts on exclusives? Let me know. You guys know I love it all. Reading, collecting, exclusives. I'm in for the long ride. So make sure you guys like, subscribe, do all that kind of good stuff. The next video I'm going to put up is all of my banger, huge Absolute Batmans from my issue 1 exclusives, all the limited Felix stuff, Grails, everything you guys have been waiting to see. That's going to end my Absolute Batman series. And then next month is Cincinnati Comic-Con with Scott Snyder and Mark Spears, and then we're right into New York Comic-Con. So again, like, follow, share, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff. Read your books, collect what you love, have a great day, but most importantly, I hope you guys always find what you're looking for. Thank you.